The Rotary Club of Tulsa is working hard every day to serve the needs and make a difference in the lives of those here in Tulsa and around the world. Thank you for joining us on this cool, crisp, but sunny spring day. Glad you're here today. So, Monday was International Children's Book Day. So I thought as we take a minute to greet each other and say hello, that maybe we could share what your favorite children's book was when you were a young lad. So let's go ahead and say hello to each other. I'm expecting a big, so you're going to do solo, right? So Joseph.
Yeah, I'm going to tap dance.
What are we singing? And you're going to say something about it?
I am. This is why we're let free.
Okay, we have a full program today, so let's get started. Kathy Gorell is going to lead us in her invocation. Michelle Place will lead us in our song and pledge. And then Michael Willis will introduce our visitors. Kathy.
Will you join me in prayer? Once again, we gather in this great hall and enjoy the wonderful benefits of Rotary Fellowship. We're truly grateful for the food and the friendships around the table. Keep us mindful that we're blessed with skills and resources that can make a difference in our community, and we are truly called to bless others. We are so mindful of the teachers' strike and the needs expressed at the state capitol. And we're also aware of other budget shortfalls in many other areas. We lift up the Mental Health Association with increasing needs, and we pray for productive discussion and just solutions in so many crises that we are facing at this time. And when we are able, help us to step up in leadership and service in these areas. In your holy name we pray, amen.
And today, as we gather on April 4th, the 50th anniversary of the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., let us think about justice and equality, the life that he lived, and about freedom. Let freedom ring. So let's sing My Country, 'Tis of Thee.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here today to introduce guests in a time when we have one of my favorite Tulsans, Mike Brose, speaking today to a group of some of the rest of my favorite Tulsans. We have a few guests and one visiting Rotarian. First of all, we have Mr. Bill Langdon, and he's the Executive Director of Young People of the Next Generation, and he's here with Dr. Cara Gay Neal. Welcome. We have Deborah Cox, who's a guest of Linda Baker. You'll please stand. Introduce you. Yes, thank you. And then from Wichita, a former Tulsan, Mike Fremmel here is a guest of Commissioner Karen Keith. So join me in welcoming our guests. And on a routine day, our friend from Wichita might be our guest that has traveled the farthest, but today we have a very special visiting Rotarian and also guest of Matthew Bristow, Reverend John Vernon, who is here from Ellesmere, United Kingdom. Welcome, Reverend John Vernon. Thank you all very much, and come visit us again.
Thank you, Kathy, Michelle, Michael, and Tom on the piano. Appreciate you all. And welcome to our guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. If you're looking for a place to make some great business connections, meet some even greater friends, and serve your community, this is the place for you. So we hope you'll consider joining us. So we want to thank this week's meeting sponsors, whose sponsorships help defray the cost of running this club. Elaine Dishman with Regent Bank, and Jeff Hassel with Gable Gottwalls. And as always, please consider doing business with your fellow Rotarians when you have a need. Let's also thank our meeting volunteers for this week for all the hard work they do behind the scenes. Thank you, volunteers. Okay, a few announcements today. This club continues just to be busy, 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 busy. I want to just say a word real quick about our the Rotary International Foundation. A lot of times it's really easy to confuse. Rotary International has a foundation and the Rotary Club of Tulsa has a foundation. And we've been talking a lot about the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation and all the work that we do in the community here and drilling water wells in Nicaragua. But the Rotary International Foundation is different. That's a foundation that's 501c3 that is supported by all Rotarians worldwide, okay? And then they work on projects worldwide. And so everyone here donates. Well, everyone hopefully donates. We could actually use a few more donations to the Rotary International Foundation, which is why I'm talking about this. So a lot of times it's really easy. I know with me, it's easy to remember to write a check to the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation, but I sometimes forget to write my check to the Rotary International Foundation. So if you've forgotten to write that check, this is your reminder. I promise you the funds will go to good need. In fact, we have a video clip, a short video clip to kind of show you what the Rotary International Foundation does. Thanks, Brad. So there you go. So yeah. So if you're unsure on how to make a donation to the Rotary International Foundation, see either Tina, Tommy Lynn, or myself, and we'll help show you the way. So Camp Enterprise is this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, and we have about 70 high school juniors that have signed up and will be heading to Camp Harlow Hills near Tahlequah for the weekend on Thursday. And Dana Burks and Brandy Bynum and their committee have just done a superior job in putting together a great group of kids, a great program. We've got some really high-profile speakers this year, and so it's going to be a great camp. If you have a day or part of a day, but Thursday through Saturday really, to go out to the camp, I would encourage you to do that. I promise you, you will leave a changed person, and you will be super psyched about the future of this world, because these kids are some great kids. So hopefully maybe you can have a little time to do that. Yesterday, about 36 of us hopped on a bus. It wasn't the bus promised by David, but we had some issues. Apparently that bus was being used by the teachers, so that's cool. Yep. So, but it was a very nice bus, and we made the trip to Oklahoma City and went to the Oklahoma City Club meeting and just had a great time. They were great hosts. George Kaiser was the speaker, and he spoke on early childhood development and what the George Kaiser Family Foundation is doing to break that cycle of poverty. And then afterwards, we got to tour a new hotel and concert venue. And I learned something new. I did not realize Oklahoma City, Ford Motor Company used to manufacture cars in Oklahoma City. Just didn't know that. And their abandoned manufacturing facility has now been converted into a really nice hotel called 21C with a beautiful art museum inside that we got to tour. And then part of it is a concert venue that is just amazing. I mean, I don't know, I couldn't describe it. It's a restaurant, it's a concert venue, has outdoor seating, it's really neat. So we had a great time. So next year they'll be coming here, and the following year we'll be going back. So I would encourage you a couple years from now to consider going to that. Okay, we have some community service opportunities. As we promised you, one of the things we want to do is try to have more opportunities available for us to get engaged in our community. And so Stephen Robards and his committee have selected 2 nonprofits that we are sponsoring through our Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation, the Lindsay House and the South Tulsa Community House. And there's some really kind of easy volunteer opportunities to do on that. Like, for example, I think it's the Lindsay House. Once a month, we need someone to go by All Souls Unitarian Church, pick up food, and deliver it to the Lindsay House. And so that's something you could do maybe with another Rotarian. We need to do that once a month for a year. And so see Stephen afterwards and ask him what volunteer opportunities there are there for you to get involved in. Okay, food service. As you all know, Tiamos has been serving our food now for a few months, and they have done a fantastic job by everything I've heard. The church has signed a contract with a new caterer, CDC, I believe it is. And so starting next week, they will be serving our lunch. And I have heard nothing but great things about this caterer. In fact, they served us last fall when we were looking at different opportunities. So I just want to kind of give you a heads up. It's not going to be Tiamos next week, but I know a lot of you frequent Tiamos, so when you see Mehdi, tell him thanks. They did a great job bridging us to this point. We met with him last week and told him how thankful we were, and so there's that. Okay, cards are on the table for Ed Monette. Ed's father passed away a few days ago, and I never got to meet Ed's father, but I've heard great things about him. Obviously, Ed comes by his servant heart, honestly. So if you wouldn't mind, jot Ed a note, tell him you're thinking about him, and when you see him, give him a hug and maybe a pat on the back. It's going to be some hard days for him. Okay, we have 3 new members joining our club. So Paula, if you, Becky, I've got Becky, Michelle, and Cara Gay, want to come up with Catherine, Ken, and Prima Donna to introduce our new Rotarians. And John DeBar, thanks again for leading the new member orientation. We appreciate it. I'll let you guys decide who wants to go first.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to introduce Rotary's newest member, Catherine Tillotson. Kate is a Marine and a veteran of the Iraq War. She is a proud alumnus of the University of Tulsa, and she has been recognized as a tireless advocate of veterans by receiving the 2017 award as the National Student Veteran of the Year from the Student Veterans of America, competing against student veterans from Harvard, Columbia, University of Delaware, and 15 other colleges around the nation. Kate was awarded one of the Hill Vets 100 honorees in 2017 as a top contributor to military-connected empowerment across the nation. In July of that same year, Kate was selected as a Veterans in Global Leadership Fellow, a prestigious fellowship with fellows from the nation's top Ivy League schools, including Yale, Harvard, and Dartmouth. Kate also serves as policy liaison for Student Veterans of America to help educate students and Oklahoma stakeholders, legislators about veteran empowerment through higher education and issues affecting military-connected students. Kate serves as a fellow and veteran advocate for Mayor G.T. Bynum. Her work focuses on empowering Tulsa's military community in areas related to higher education, economic development, talent acquisition, and entrepreneurship. She lives in Midtown with her partner Kyle and their elderly Labradoodle, Brownie. And as a side note, I'm personal friends with Libby's parents, Doctors Nathan and Libby Tillotson, and they are truly servant leaders as well. So as you can see, Kate simply personifies service above self. And welcome, Kate, and I want to give you your Vori test, your pin, and your red badge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I thought I was tall. Prima Donna Braddock is someone I met on a board that we share the opportunity to work with Bill Langdon, who's our guest today. The group is called Young People of the Next Generation, and it's about career counseling for students and advising them of opportunities that they might not otherwise be aware of through a lot of technology. But Prima Donna, I'm going to put this down, has a very impressive background and resume, and if I start off by telling you she's an actress, ordained minister, life coach, author, but she is an example of everything I think Rotary represents too, because she was in foster care in East Oakland, California from the age of 2 to 18. She has, despite a really varied and often sometimes difficult background, she competed in the Miss California pageant, and she had real serious educational goals that she achieved her Bachelor's of Arts degree in Communication from San Jose State University. She's an alumni of Oral Roberts University, where she earned 2 master's degrees, in one in marriage and family therapy and one in Christian counseling. She's also a graduate of the Leadership Tulsa Class 54, not 1954, obviously. But she's also, she was selected just this year, just last month, in fact, honored by the YWCA and Mayor's Commission on the Status of Women as a recipient of the 2018 Women of the Year Pinnacle Award. And her greatest accomplishment, and the thing she's so dedicated to individually, that her background has well prepared her for, is she created a group in 2012 called Soaring Eagles Youth and Family Services, Inc. It's a nonprofit, and she does family counseling. She is primarily designated as a behavioral health counselor, but she also then every spring, late spring, early summer, sponsors a group called the Annual Girls Teen Summit. Each year it draws about 200 girls that otherwise would not maybe have the opportunity to experience, particularly other women, in roles of leadership and training and mentorship. And she's married and she has no children of her own, but she continues to foster other children in her home as part of just her driven commitment to helping others. So we're really pleased to announce, too, that Prima Donna is going to be one of our members. Her Teen Girls Summit is this year, June 1st and 2nd. It is a nonprofit, and she would welcome any contributions you might have to that activity of helping young women in Tulsa. So Prima Donna, thank you for being a part of our membership, and just like Paula said, your badge, your pin, and the 4-way test.
Well, I'm pleased to introduce to you, oh wait, you probably already know half the people in the room or more. Ken Bruni, a local attorney, owner of the Bruni Law Firm. He certainly has held a number of capacities within the legal community, in the Oklahoma bar, et cetera, but there are a lot more interesting things about him in addition to his legal career. He certainly has a heart for service within the community. Just a few of the places that he serves is the Indian Nations, Boy Scouts, residents, Oklahoma State University Medical Center in a number of different capacities. But where we see a lot of his work these days is in the Tulsa Foundation for Architecture. That love of history, love of architecture manifests itself. He is the proud owner of the Reunion Building. He also lives there and offices there. He's also worked for the Arthritis Foundation. He served our country as a United States Army. He was a combat officer in Vietnam. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Vietnam Service Medal. And I'm not sure if that, well, I'm making light. I don't want to make light of that, of his service. Go ahead. But he also served as president of the PTA of St. Mary's. He hails from Iowa. His undergraduate degree, I lost that part. There it is, right there, from St. Ambrose, political science. But then he went on to get a master's degree in English. What do you do with that? Oh, then you go to law school. So, a great friend. I've known him for more years than we want to count. He also has run countless marathons internationally. He has a daughter who thinks that's a good way for them to travel. And then for 18 years, this will be the 18th year, he likes to bike across Iowa. So will you welcome with me Ken Bruni to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. All your stuff. Okay.
Wow, I gotta tell you, it's just a little more than intimidating to be standing up here with these members we're bringing in. But boy, Kate, Prima Donna, Ken, welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. We appreciate your participation, your passion, and your purpose that you're bringing to our club. You're gonna find there's lots of opportunities to get plugged in and work alongside your fellow Rotarians. So thanks for joining us. Okay, we have a couple side mic announcements. Johan, you're on, buddy.
Thank you.
Johan has something very exciting to share with us here.
Thank you. When I think about the Rotary Club of Tulsa, three things come to my mind. They're important. I've learned since my short tenure here is As President Mike mentions, every week we're encouraged to do business with each other. We're encouraged to foster camaraderie, and then one important thing we learn every week is really giving back to the community. So thanks to President Mike, Hannibal, and the entire board, we're launching a new fundraising platform that encompasses all of those 3 items in one piece. And I don't have the time, I guess, restricted on that to explaining it further, but I want you to walk away with 2 items. And that's, first of all, is that we're not asking for any monetary contributions. That's probably exciting because there's so many things parallel going on. The tool, really the platform, turns your engagement, your volunteer time into a tax-deductible donation. And then the other piece, and it's exciting to the Rotary Club, is that we are dedicating at the beginning all funds to our partner school, Celia Clinton. And based on my knowledge, that would make us the first organization here in Tulsa that supports a public school directly through ongoing funds. And I will be outside for the next couple of months before and after the meeting with the laptop station, and we'll help you explain everything, help you to sign up, and you will also get a couple emails. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Johan. Johan's a great example of the youth we're bringing into this club and the brilliant ideas that they bring with them. We will get out more details on this through the newsletter, so be watching in the newsletter. Johan, we just didn't have time to give. I mean, this is big. This is a huge thing that we can give back, give some more support to Celia Clinton. Bob McKenzie, do you want to talk to us about your bike ride coming up here, huh?
Thank you, President Mike. Actually, I want to talk to you about polio.
Well, okay, there you go.
Yeah, we are going on this Race Across America again, June 16th. It'll be our 3rd year. I'm the only American left on the team. All the rest of my teammates are from Europe. But that shows how much it's grown in just 3 years. I was looking back at some notes where I've made announcements here. And just a little over, almost 7 years ago, I started riding a bicycle for polio. And I would stand up here and tell you that we had had 1,300 cases of polio. Last year we had 22. This year we've only had 6. We are truly... So many of the polio warriors that were in this room 6 years ago are no longer with us. But I believe if they were to speak to us today, they would ask you to step up and help because they're no longer here to do it. And so I want to ask, will you take their place? Our goal this year for Team Rotary Rams Polio is $1 million. And last week we crossed over 400,000. So we got 600,000 to go in 10 weeks. And hopefully we'll be able to get that done. You know, last week we kind of gave some kudos to Bob Linacher for the fundraising effort he did for the plaza. And I never will forget when I was president, Bob came up to me on stage and he said, I'm trying to get this funded and I'm too old to ask for $500. Will you give me $5,000? I'm not going to ask you for $5,000 today, but I would like to say that if everybody in this room today would give $100, we'd raise about $20,000 in here today. And so I'm hoping you will think about that. $20,000 will ensure that 33,000 children will not get polio. So you can help in that way. Last week I was talking with Pedro Figueroa, who is a past district governor down in Central America, and he was saying how hard it is to raise money down there, and he said they can't give much. And I said, if they give 60 cents, that's one child that will not get polio. And so there's no amount too small. And so I do hope that you will help us. I learned yesterday that our club has over 100,000 points that we can give if you give to the foundation or to polio to help match and help make you a Paul Harris Fellow. And I learned that I have 4,000 points, and I'm willing to give those 4,000 points, $1 for 1 point, until they're gone, until my 4,000 are gone. So maybe we can make some more Paul Harris Fellows here.
Super.
And will 2018 be the last year we see a case of polio? Will polio end in our lifetime? We are truly this close. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. We're going to help you get to that $1 million mark, Bob. Thank you for your dedication to that. Charles,
Yes, sir.
you're on.
I'm on. Okay, we'll keep this thing speeded. You got to come up here right now because we went national this week with this man right here. Michael was featured as the Oklahoma representative on CNN for the teachers down there. And unfortunately, I didn't get a slide because it just happened. It was breaking news. And so anyway, but with that, obviously, their notoriety for Tulsa, you do get a fine. The good thing is it's based on the educational scale, so I'll even pay it for you. It's $1. And, you know, and that works out pretty well, doesn't it, for the educational process? So you just keep rock and rolling out there, okay? Go buy the...
Thank you, Michael.
All right, very good. Well, thank you very much. All right. Pretty impressive I can jump like that and not fall. Let's get started. Let's see. First up, okay, I got to retro a little bit. Paula last week gave her little anonymous donation for John Deladova. Is John here? Well, John drove her, but the thing about it, what I failed to mention was it was the designer showcase, which Paula is really heavily involved with. The monies for the showcase goes to our Tulsa educational system, so I apologize I didn't say anything to that. Well, hold on a second.
This is fabulous. Okay, this is more than shameless.
Shameless plug, go.
Okay, so Designer Showcase opens April the 27th. Okay, so my find this week are 2 tickets to the Designer Showcase.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how we distribute those, but that's my find. But anyway, but John is Paula Delvadova's husband, and he's involved, and so all these things happen for the welfare of our students at Tulsa Public Schools. So that was the shameless plug.
There we go.
That was
very
the thing.
good.
Thank you,
Well,
Charles.
thank you.
Love you, Charles.
I love you too. And
Thank you,
apologize.
Paula.
Isn't that cool? Apologize. Apologize.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that.
Okay.
All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you. Let's see. Philip Viles. Where's my friend Philip? Where's he hiding? Way back there. He's kind of moved seats because he didn't want to be notarized. But people here in the Rotary Club saw he was in a documentary for Chief Wilma Madkiller on OETA recently. And anyway, I don't know if you know this, but he is 1/1000th Indian. And he said, don't let the blue eyes and the blonde hair that used to be there, fool you. But anyway, it was just really wonderful for people to see another member of our group on television. So thank you very much for those people to recognize Phil. And it keeps on going for our younger youth. This guy, I've known him for several years now, so it's hard to believe that he's even considered somewhere close to 40. But Andrew Ralston, who works with our chamber, he was recognized as one of the 40 for 40s, right? 40 before 40, right? Okay. And the cool thing about Andrew is he's only 31, so he's way ahead of his time. But he is paying a fine for 4808 because he wants to balance out the amount of time till he hits 40. So $40 plus the 8 years and 8 cents, which 8 cents makes months, right? So that's how we got 4808. So congratulations, very big honor, very cool. Thank you very much. And last but not least, I was going through the park, and this is my Sarge pick of the week. And this is really interesting because I saw this, and the realization was they're warning us that in case there's a rapture, the bicycles will be unmanned. And so just beware if you plan on being left below, you might have to dodge some bicycles. So anyway, you good with that?
I'm good with that.
All right, let's move on. You all have a great day. Thanks.
Okay, vocational minute. Cliff Johnson, representing Terracon.
Who's Terracon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did tell me since we have 4 divisions, I get 1 minute per division?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Terracon Consulting is an engineering firm that is nationwide. We have over 150 locations and over 4,000 employees. Here in Tulsa, we have all four of the different areas of concern that they deal with. Geotechnical, which is Mike's big thing, where they drill down into the ground and tell you what's down there. We do materials testing, particularly out on roads and highways and that type thing, to make sure that the concretes and asphalts and all are proper. We also do environmental, which we do a lot of ES1s, which when you're buying property, they have it inspected to make sure that there's not anything bad involved in there, and underground storage tanks and things like that. And then our fourth division, which is about 5 years old in this office, is facilities. That's the division that I work with, is facilities. We do building envelope evaluations and management. We do a lot of work with architects, with general contractors. We do a lot of forensics repair or investigations, to where we look at what's causing the moisture to get inside the building that then causes you to have to call our environmental division. So we're out there. We do a lot of work with schools and other areas. If I can help you, my particular expertise is in roofing, and we'd be glad to work with you in any of those fields and see what we can do for you.
Thank you, Cliff. Sounds like an awesome company. Okay. Rotarian of the day is Mr. Michael Turner. Michael is a special education teacher at Memorial Junior High. He is also co-founder and executive director for Project Special Courage. He is also the proud father of daughters Madison, who goes to Memorial High School, and Megan, who's a student at the Edison Middle School. Michael has been a very active member of our club since 2011, and he served our country for 8 years in the United States Marine Corps, earning the rank of captain. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Michael Turner.
Thank you, President Mike, for that very warm introduction. It is truly, truly my pleasure to be here today and introduce a good friend and also a leader in mental health and finding solutions to help others who struggle with mental health, Michael Brose. I promised him I would keep my introduction very, very short. He doesn't like long introductions. Plus, I know that there were many, many pages and things sent out to each Rotarian before the meeting that had all of his likes, dislikes, and favorite colors on it and everything, Mike. So there you go. I think purple is one of them, right?
It is, and my favorite name, Mike.
And Mike, yes. We have the three mics up here. And Mr. Brose has a couple of guests with him today, but I'm going to let him introduce them. I just really want to say on a personal note that since moving here in 2011, right after joining the Rotary Club, I had the very, very distinct privilege and honor of meeting Mike through a minister at our church, Bill Kroll, like you remember him, and we kind of struck up a friendship. And when we had moved our family here, my oldest daughter was then 10, and as you know, she has multiple challenges in life and special needs. We had no safety net for her, no support system. And my friend, Bill Kroll, the Reverend, said, "Why don't you call Mike Brose?" And I had only spoken with Mike maybe once, so again, we didn't know each other that well. I got his cell phone, got a hold of him, and he was at an airport in between speaking engagements. I can't remember, it was like Chicago or something, because you were yelling bears or fear. I don't remember which it was, but it was. But he sat there and talked to me and gave me a couple of points of contact for me to contact immediately, and then he would follow up with these folks. And I've always kind of called these folks that he introduces me to, and that was just the first of many points of light. And I know that's been used by others, but I don't think I've ever shared that with Michael. But the people that he introduces you to are like your anchor points. And you can always, always go back to those people and ask another question or try to see if they can help you get through the next challenge. And not everyone has that gift or skill or even that concern. Many, unfortunately, in our world will just pass you on, but not with Mike. He wants to make sure that if he introduces you to somebody, that that person is going to help you get to the next spot and not fall in the gaps of our services that we have in the state from, and Charles, thank you for the donation to the state of education. That'll go well towards the $300 billion. But you know, the core services of education, disability services, mental health, et cetera, they all impact each other. And when one part of it isn't well funded or supported, it has such a grave impact on all the other areas. And he has been such a strong advocate for 25 years with Mental Health Association and continues to do that. And I would say probably 90% of what he does goes unseen. Very few people know unless they know him, because he's not talking about it, he's not bragging about it. So he's very humble with what he does. He's very, very good. He's very, very tenacious. He also knows how to raise money because he believes in what he does. And I just consider it, again, a privilege and a pleasure to have Mike Brose with us today.
Well, Rotarians, thank you so much, President Mike, Michael Turner, and again, I think just one more time honoring our teachers and the embodiment of Michael Turner here, and we just want to thank you again for what you guys do to raise our young people. The education is our keys to our future, to have well-educated communities. Want to also honor and recognize Brenda Melicon. Where's Brenda sitting at? There she is back there. One of our board members, served 6 years on our advisory council, helped us raise money. Brenda, thank you so much. Yeah. And Paula, those boots, I love those boots. Where I come from, those boots will get you in a lot of places. Those are nice. Oh, I don't know. I got my own, but I like those boots. I want to also introduce to you my guests, Noe Rodriguez and Ashley Gunnels back there. They're going to be there in some slides here in a minute, and you'll get to see what they do. Every day they're out there doing. You may see them out there under the bridges and in encampments reaching out. This is recently, you may have seen it in the media last week. This is called Prevention, Treatment, Recovery toward a 10-year plan for improving mental health and wellness in Tulsa. Dr. Jerry Clancy, many of you know Jerry. He was the head of that. The Ann and Henry Zero Foundation was very supportive. They hired the Urban Institute to be a consultant. It was a who's who involved in mental health. And involvement in this. We've been working on it over a year. The business community's been involved, what have you. And this will become and you can get to this document on tulsamentalhealth.org. You can go to that on the website and see the entire plan. It's very important you do that because this will be our roadmap going forward in terms of taking what we've done and the significant work we've done and being able to take that to scale and to really address the mental health care needs. Because the truth of the matter is, I've never seen a time in the years that I've been a clinical social worker for the last 37 years that more people are talking about mental health, addiction issues, that homelessness, incarceration. These are things that affect all of us. They're very, very expensive, and it's a lot less expensive to solve these, elevate the quality of everyone's life, and make it affordable and accessible for everyone, and us not to be afraid to talk about mental health and talk about our own mental health, because the truth of the matter is, if our kids are struggling with their mental health, I don't care how smart they are, they can't perform academically. If our mental health of ourselves and our employees aren't good, then our production levels go down, our ability to be highly productive. Mental health is every bit as important as our physical health, and they're more closely related than what we give it credit, because we're still embarrassed to talk about it, and there's still stigma. And so by your having me here today is saying we're not going to be a part of that thinking. We're going to go on, and thank you very much. So I'm going to show you some slides here. And again, right off the bat, there's Noe Rodriguez. So we've really created, and again, under the rubric of A Way Home for Tulsa. So how many of you, raise your hands if you know, you can say, I honestly know what A Way Home for Tulsa is. Raise your hands. not too many hands go up. So here's the short story about that. So a number of years ago, so a lot of times funders and different people involved in donations say, don't you guys duplicate it? Aren't we doing too much of that? Da, da, da. So what we've done is all the organizations, so it's 25 different organizations, faith-based, public, private, all brought together under A Way Home for Tulsa. We center, our core backbone is over at Community Service Council, 25 different organizations working together in all kinds of ways to end chronic homelessness in our community here. And so we all operate, and this is all a part of it. So when you hear us talk about this is the work of the Mental Health Association, it's also in great partnership with the 25 different other organizations that are involved in this. So there's Homeless Outreach, there's Noe, we're going out, Noe's out, he's our man on the streets. He's also helps mobilize the other organizations that have outreach workers there, and Noe's out there every day. It's very hard work. I worry about his mental health. I tell him that all the time. I check with him. It's unbelievable. You're talking to people who are untreated. Again, dichotomy between untreated mental health and people who are treated, and mental illness is very treatable. And so people who are in treatment and stable in their mental health are around us every day. We just don't know who they are because they don't tell us, because they're afraid of any prejudice or discrimination that may come toward them by people who don't really understand, okay? But then we have another group of people who are untreated, and those are the times of people with addiction, a lack of treatment from serious mental illnesses. They oftentimes end up in our streets and are homeless, and we have to go out on the streets and work with them. Again, this is Noe. This is right across the street. I took this picture of Noe talking to a woman. The last time I saw her actually on the streets was right on the sidewalk, right outside the church here. But about 3 weeks after that picture was taken, Noe was engaging her. I'm embarrassed to say I was standing inside Foolish Things Coffee, which is right over here, with my $5 latte, taking her picture. She had just been in and trying to was using the restroom. But there's Noe. We called Noe. Noe came over and engaged her. And when she saw Noe had already been outreaching to her. She saw Noe, and I saw this bright, beautiful smile come across her face, recognizing Noe. Noe's walking here over to show her, and showed her apartment in our Altamont property right over here by the church that you guys see all the time. And now she's in an apartment over there and lives over there, and she's been now housed 10 months. She was on the streets of Tulsa, chronically homeless, for 9 years. And so there she is. She no longer pushes a grocery cart around. By the way, I saw her about 3 weeks after she moved in. She was again over at Foolish Things Coffee. She had the same clothes on. They were all washed and clean. She was in line and buying herself a cup of coffee. That's what this is all about. To raise the quality of life of one person is to raise the quality of life of all of us, guys. So here we are again, Homeless Outreach. Again, you have to go where these people are. If you're going to sit around in your offices and say, gee, I hope those people come around, what have you, that's not where they're at. We don't really understand that because we haven't lived in that world where you become habituated to homelessness. It becomes a way of life. The same way we're all habituated to a very nice, comfortable lifestyle, relatively speaking. And then these individuals, because day after day after day, they weren't born homeless. Again, homelessness has become you remember the Scarlet Letter? Remember that book? And it used to be that Scarlet Letter. Now it's the Scarlet Letter H. The homeless, someone to be feared. And somebody has to go down, love those individuals, build a relationship with them. A lot of these times untreated, there are lots of delusion, lots of paranoia, self-medication with substances. And Noe, dude, you and Ashley are out there, and I appreciate it. And Ashley is an MSW student at the School of Social Work at OU, and we're raising her up and training her, and so she can continue to be involved with us and in the community. Again, there's more homeless outreach. That's our drop-in center, by the way. And by the way, all of you have a standing invitation to come out and do a housing tour. If you'll give me an hour and 15 minutes, I call it the hour and 15-minute tour, that will change your life. It'll open your eyes up and you'll say, wow, this is cool. How do I be involved? This is neat that we're doing this here in our community of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Again, now a Better Way program. How many of you have been hearing about the Better Way program? We're actually going out now in partnership with the city, and we're going out and picking up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday people that are panhandling, people that are homeless, to take them out into public spaces, letting them work. They work 6 hours, then we pay them. But it's more than that. A Better Way is about at a case manager at their lunch break. We meet with them. We have a case manager, talks to them about their housing needs, their health care needs, their mental health care needs, their dental care needs. Okay? Because if you're going to get a permanent job, you got to have your dental care taken care of, because nobody will hire you. Regardless of how much they care about you, they don't want you interacting with the public. It's just our human nature to have regret. So we're trying to also get, we call it integrated health care, mental health care, physical health care, and dental care, and getting all those taken care of. So you'll see the van out, picking people up. I forget, we're on like week 3. You're going to be seeing more in the media about it, but every day we have no trouble. The other day, what did we have? 23 people, and we can only take 8. There are 23 people waiting, homeless, people panhandling out there to be able to get on that van and go out and work in a public space. We also, as a part of that program, have a person out every day working with potential employers, because the idea is to move people from homelessness, panhandling, to health care, the things I talked about earlier, but then to work and help employers be able to work with us to get these people permanently employed, and to be also there to support the employer should problems or issues arise for that individual or that business, to be able to help them. So we're really, really excited about that, and we thank, when you see Mayor Bynum, be sure and thank him for his leadership on that. Again, there's the real change for panhandling. Again, Better Way, where does the name come from? Oh, it's a message to the individuals, there's a better way. Guess what? It's also a message to the general public. There's a better way than handing money out your car window. Okay? That just encourages that behavior. There's a better way. We'll have cards. We're going to be getting those soon to distribute those, so you can give people cards and tell them where the distribution points are, where we can get on and begin to engage them in towards real change and lasting change, not being able to hand money out our car windows. Okay, there they are out in the workspace. You can see them there. Okay, that they're working. Okay. Now, the other thing is, and I have very little, I'm just running out of time here, the community response team. Now, the big thing around the country, we're one of the leaders in it. We learned this from Colorado Springs. It is called a co-responder model. So for mental health crisis calls, we're piloting it. Right now, we only have funding to pilot it 2 times a week. It's a partnership between Tulsa Police Department, Tulsa Fire Department, Family and Children's Services, and Mental Health Association. And we have code responders going out, mental health crisis. So you have a law enforcement officer there to make sure everybody's safe. You have a firefighter who's an EMT in case we have any kind of medical emergencies. And then we also have a mental health professional there, and they work as a 3-person team responding to people in mental health crisis. And we're going to demonstrate the evidence of how that effective that is. Interesting, we're also in Oklahoma City, we're statewide now. They're looking at this model and looking to expand that into Oklahoma City too. Okay? There's some more community response team. All right. And then the other program, we're working in partnership with Tulsa Fire Department. We don't have funding yet. We, again, modeled this. It's in different cities around the country. Our model was in Colorado Springs. Again, this pairs mental health professional and firefighters. And because people call 911, they're in their homes, they have needs, they're not getting met, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to turn, they call 911. When they call 911, fire truck, IMSA, sometimes police, they go racing out there with their lights flashing, because that's what first responders do. They get there, they find out there's no fire, there's not a medical emergency, there's people in need, they call, what have you. So now the model is, and we don't have funding yet, the fire department doesn't have funding yet to be able to have full-time staff, but they have a firefighter, and we pair them with my social work students from the University of Oklahoma that I supervise, and we partner and have them with preceptors with the fire department. They go out, and on their frequent callers, their threshold is 15 911 calls within a 1-year period. Think about if your next door neighbor, if you saw 15 911 calls, emergency runs over to your next door neighbor, did you think maybe there's something going on over there? And so this is where they go out. One of the things our lessons learned is folks don't like to see police officers come to their front door. They don't really like to see social workers like me come to their front door either, but they love firefighters. Come on in. Come on in, firefighters. And then we begin to engage them in a conversation, what have you. So it's an incredible program. We hope to see that expand. Okay? And there's my interns right there working, and I just met with them this morning in our group supervision. Again, community health and wellness, where we go out, we have a physician assistant and an LPN. We go out to some of our neediest people that live in our housing, who are formerly homeless, mentally ill. Many of them have benefits for all kinds of reasons. One of them is transportation, lack of transportation, but many, many reasons they don't go into primary care offices. Sometimes it's illiteracy. Sometimes they're just intimidated by the size and the bill. They get confused. Has that ever happened to any of us? It does. It's happened to me. And so they don't. So we're going to them, and then we're doing warm handoffs into primary care. Again, addressing their mental health care symptoms, we're addressing their physical health care, and we're also doing with their dental care. And again, William K. Warren Foundation is our partner and funder on that, and we're looking to expand that, to take that community-wide next year. So let's see there. I think that's our last slide. So again, I want to just thank you all. And there's the Altamont Bakery with the synagogue, and over at B'nai Amuna, and we have people with mental illness go in and pair up, and there they are at getting people to work. They wage. Now, I want to tell you about this picture right here. Look at that picture real closely, what it says. Now, last thing I'm going to leave you with is it's called the urban myth. Okay, the myth is, and this is a great audience to talk to about it, because you guys can help us dispel this myth. It's amazing. I've been for years trying to stamp it out. It's not working very well. So the urban myth is, we do such a great job with our population, homeless population here in Tulsa. Other cities, did you know that other cities send people here to get these great services? So I've had a standing challenge for years, and I'll put it out here today, is if you can tell me who it is, what city, and who it was that sent here, I will personally address that organization and that individual myself. And I've had that out there for 10 years. Nobody's taken me up on it yet. Now, do people travel around? Everybody travels a little bit. But most of the people we have, now who this is we got word that Oklahoma City had sent some of their homeless over here because we had such great services. So who did we call? That guy standing there in that picture, that's Dan Strawn. He's the head of the Homeless Alliance in Oklahoma City. They do fabulous work over there. We work with them all the time. This is him. He went out and checked. He took great offense to that, but he went around and checked out all over Oklahoma City, everybody he knew. Couldn't find anybody who had ever done that, what have you. This is him chiding us with our urban myth, and he's making fun of us right here. So, we cannot ever, and you go to conferences and you find out every city that urban myth exists. I hear it all the time, what have you. It's not true. Do people ever travel here? But the majority of the people that we survey every year, they are from Oklahoma or this area. The majority of them are fellow Tulsans. So help us stamp that urban myth out. If anybody challenges you, says not true, you send them to me. I'd be happy to talk to them, okay? Thank you all very, very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for watching out for and giving a voice to those who have mental health challenges. We appreciate you very much and all that you do and all that the agencies. I think that's awesome that you're all collaborating together. That's going to make a huge difference, no doubt, no doubt. So, as I told you, our speaker's book this week that we're going to donate to our adopted school, Celia Clinton, is A Funny Little Bird, and thank you for signing that. Okay, upcoming programs real quick. Next week, John Dwyer, who authored the book, The Oklahomans, The Story of Oklahoma and Its People, will be here to speak to us. John is a very engaging speaker. His books are used in the public schools because they capture the students and draw them in. And he's going to have books here that he'll autograph, sell us, and then autograph. So bring your check. April 18th, Camp Enterprise and our Nicaragua Water Wells, two of our club's signature projects, will share the stage here. We're going to hear both about Camp Enterprise and the Water Well project. This is a great time if you have a potential member to bring them as your guest, and so they can see the types of projects that this club is involved in that they may want to help us with. So please do that. So now I encourage you to go out, share your Rotary story, and don't forget to bring a friend to Rotary next week. We are dismissed.